Awesome. Welcome, everybody. Here we are, another edition of Real Talk with Small Businesses Essential founder and patron, Edward Henry. I'm Steve Anderson, president of SBE. Ed, how are you doing this morning?
Doing great this morning. How are you doing today, Steve?
I'm doing well. We're getting closer and closer to our first Safe Space first event and our small business conference. And so I'm really excited. We've got a lot of things happening in the background, and that's what I want to talk with you about today is the actual event, which is the launch of this conference series. So first question to you, it's been a long time coming. What does it mean to you to actually be launching the conference series, this small business conference series and the Safe Space First initiative?
Well, it's been a long time coming. As you're aware, we've been working on this since March of 2020. And as the story has been developing, so has the vision. And we made a lot of inroads, a lot of mistakes. It's been a lot of people putting a lot of hard work in to get to this point. So I'm really excited. I know there's members of the group, yourself, Rabina, everybody that's been putting in time, many volunteers that are not part of the group that are on the offset that have really been helping and stepping up and promoting this very important cause. Well, we have a few things that are very important that are kind of wrapped into one, as you're aware of, between the Small Business is Essential United organization, along with our with Safe Space First, which is something that we really are excited to launch on November 25th as well.
Yeah, like I say, it's been a lot of work coming into it, and now it's it's November 25th, so it's coming up. It's coming up. Yeah. So in your words, what exactly is this small business conference series?
Well, it's an initiative that we decided to use to really take a grassroots approach on the ground in each community to really build up strong communities over again, unite communities on what's important, mostly in supporting small business and finding our community champions that care about small business, but of course also it's about promoting universal standards for safe space management that we branded, that we call Safe Space First. And it's a way of saying that, hey, we care more about people than we care about business. And it's not that we don't care about business, but we care about providing a safe space for people first. And that's the mission there. And that's the important message that we're going to do one community at a time over the next 2 years. So,
yeah, the pandemic brought this initiative on, but this is really about people and helping people be healthy. And our businesses is just one aspect of who we are. There's family, there's your own mental, emotional, spiritual, social health, which has really been impacted by this pandemic. So this is the launch of a conference series, and it's a North American conference series because we're looking to do this in the US as well. What makes this launch, this one event, so special? Why should I come to this event, whether it's virtually, which will be 2 weeks later, or the in-person event? It's only 200 seats. So why should I come to this event? What am I going to get? And what makes this launch so important?
Well, we're only going to be able to touch on what makes this launch so important today. But what they're going to get from the event is going to be really just says it all. I mean, first of all, we're going to be introducing Safe Space First, where we literally explain how the system works and why universal standards are so critically important. But also it's a challenge that we are really going to be promoting to every community, every business across North America. And the challenge is to unite on one thing. Now we've been divided in so many ways. And when I say divided, we've been divided, whether it's about a vaccine or whether it's not about whether it's a vaccine or taking a vaccine or really not taking it at all. Masking, government regulations, politics, you name it. I mean, we've been divided in every way. And for whatever reasons, health and business have been spread apart from two different discussions, and they never had to be. They just have to be one discussion. But more importantly, what we're saying is, hey, business owners, it's time to take responsibility and ownership for your space and promote to the public, promote to everybody that you are about safe space first. And if there's one thing that we really want to do on this day, this is the day that we bring everybody together, that we unite and say, hey, we may not be able to agree on everything, but we can agree on one thing, one very important thing, that a safe space matters. That safe space first is extremely important. And that is something, that is the initiative, and that is what we want to start on November 25th. Accountability starts on November 25th.
Right.
You know, uniting together. And no matter what no matter what you disagree on, there's one thing we should all be able to agree on no matter what. And no matter, you know, regardless of what we went through in this pandemic, we can all agree that beyond this pandemic, this is important no matter what going forward. This is about sustainability. It's about thriving, recovery, everything that we've been talking about over the last 2 years. It all comes down to this one initiative. And this small business essentially united series, this business conference series that we're literally going to be just doing the same thing over and over again in each community and making sure everybody understands the importance of this initiative.
Yeah. You know what? I was talking with my doctor yesterday, and I was having this conversation with him, him being in the medical field, how health and economy, how these conversations have been, you know, separate, and it's really the same conversation. And he said, I disagree. Now I'm ready. I'm like, I disagree. What are you talking about? And what he said, we actually realized that we do agree. But I've always said that they're the same conversation. That's where he disagreed. And at the end of our conversation, this is what I got out of it. It's not that they're the same conversation, because commerce doesn't necessarily control our health, and it's not in every aspect of health.
Yes, it does. I'm going to stop you there. It does.
Well, let me finish. Let me finish. Yeah. See, you're where I was. You're where I was. And exactly. And this is why I think this conversation is so important, because this is where people get divided. Open the businesses, regardless of, you know, whether we spread the virus or not. No, we care about, you know, health. So we got to close our businesses, keep our family safe. And that's why initially I say it's the same conversation. But this is what he said that had me shift. It's not, the conversation right now is health or economy, when the conversation should be health and economy, or economy and health, however you want to look at it. We can't separate the conversation into an or conversation. It needs to be an and conversation. So anyone who would disagree that they're the same conversation, the same people who want to separate it. And for whatever reason, they see a separation. Now, I can argue about whether it's the same conversation or not, but one thing I can't argue about is this should be an and conversation, not an or conversation. And that's where we met. He agreed. Yeah, it's health and economy, not health or economy. And that's where we're being separated. And if you still disagree.
No. And look, on November 25th, we're going to be talking about about business continuity, about sustainability. And how can you have sustainability if your pandemic management strategy is lockdowns and vaccines? I'm sorry, right, but you know, we already seen one thing in 2020. This came around, and it will come around again. What it looks like the next time, we don't know. But what we do know this, we've seen the repercussions of not being prepared, one. Two, we've seen what happens as a result of managing it this way. And I don't know if there was any other way to do it. I don't want to sit here and nitpick and say government should have did this, and the other thing. Because at the end of the day, there wasn't enough time to roll out an innovative strategy that would have been easily adopted in time without being a huge, without being a fallout that people could have died from, I guess you could say. So from a government point of view, they chose the safest model necessary, and I understand it.
Yeah.
But our job as business owners is for us as owners to adopt a universal system that we ourselves become part of the innovation, and we lead the charge, so that the governments don't have to lock down ever again. So that our processes and our procedures and our traffic plans and our uniformity based on that model already exists for standards of safe space management. We know exactly how to assess and address those problems properly way in advance of this issue. So I think more than anything too is that we are telling small businesses and big businesses that you can't wait we can't wait a year, 2 years, 3 years, you know, to become sustainable. Now is the time to work on that model. Now, if you want to be a business going into the future, if you want to be future proof,
Right.
you need to literally look at universal standards as a form of innovation to make sure that your staff is properly trained and your facility is set up to be able to protect the people that work there and visit you.
Yeah, man, I'm so worried about business owners in particular, but just people who want the good old days back, who just want to go back to the normal that they're used to. And I totally understand the comfort and the security in doing what you know, and especially small businesses who aren't digital, you know, who exist with face-to-face business. You know, we don't know what the future holds. So two things are, one is you talking about ownership, us really owning our futures and future-proofing our businesses, because government can't micromanage this. Even if they, with the right plan, they don't have the funds, they don't have the people, and they're not in the community. They don't have the incentive to care about every single community. That's our job. It's our communities. Yes. So we got to take ownership and make our own spaces safe. But this transition, like people not wanting to realize what the future is going to be, probably going to be, because we don't know, but probably going to be. We know there's going to be green energy. You know, we know there's going to be automation and robotics. We know that you have to have something digital that you can rely on to generate income if you can't do business face to face physically. That's the future. And so getting people to not fear it and to really honor it, what the future looks like, and to just be able to transition over these next 5 years from whatever you're doing now that you love and you wish we could go back to, into what your future is probably going to be like. Because I see a future where people are unemployable and more people are going out of business just because we didn't face this reality and we just didn't transition. We can transition. And that's where the unity and everything comes in it for me. You can't do this by yourself. And we have experts at this event. So I'm going to ask you to talk about the speakers, the people who are going to be here for this launch, and the value that we're offering people, and and the quality of the speakers that we have here to really help people make this transition and see into the future.
So we have Dan Kelly from the Canadian Federation of Independent Business, of course, will be speaking, and he'll be addressing recovery. John Henry, the regional chair of Durham Region, will be addressing, we'll be talking a lot about community champions and literally how to, and by the way, John Henry has a great message. He's going to be sharing how the region has been able to keep services to be sustainable throughout the pandemic, which he's done an amazing job, and a good example for many other governments or regional governments to look at when it comes to how to operate efficiently in times of challenge like that. We also have Laura Martin, who will be talking about marketing and about branding, and also Lorna Weston Smythe will be also talking about marketing in a different perspective, but more or less about what it means to be transparent and also how you have to brand yourself today, because we have changed. And that's the thing that a lot of people, no matter what, to what degree or whatever your perception is, we have changed as a society. To go back, to say we're going back to where we were is just not, it doesn't sound logical, because this has already happened to us.
Right.
And unfortunately, it's a little hard to go back to something that is not sustainable anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I'd love to go back to high school too and relive that, but it's not happening. Right. I mean, so at the end of the day here, this is the purpose of Small Businesses Essentially United, is to help businesses to overcome those things, because the pandemic also has shown which businesses are at risk of being able to be sustainable based on their current models. So if you happen to be in tourism, you have to address these things. If you wish to be able to contain and maintain a certain level of safety, you have to at least see this as an ongoing change of evolution. So this is where we're going now, and that's why universal standards that everybody understands is very important. So we're gonna talk about what those universal standards work like, how it works. We're gonna talk about the safe space advisory and how many people can adopt that system, regional governments and businesses. But more importantly, this isn't about waiting for government to do this. This is about us uniting together and taking control of our space. And it's about saying, hey, safe space is first. This is the most important message going forward when it comes to us uniting together and working together to make sure that we prevent lockdowns from happening if they can be avoided.
Yeah, you keep saying united and unite, and some communities have never been united. I know we were saying reunite at some point, but some places have never been united. And there's some people out there who, they feel like, hey, I'm doing well by myself. My business is thriving during this, or I've got a plan. And other people, they just slow me down, they get in my way, and they're just a pain to work with. So this idea of uniting, not everybody wants to unite. But moving forward, the problem is going to be bigger. It's going to be bigger than one person.
I don't get that. I don't know why you wouldn't want to unite, because look at what's going on right now. I mean, we have mass divide in every area, and if you can see, it's not working. We do have to honestly, right now, more than ever, we have to pick one thing to go forward on. And I challenge everybody to have the courage to unite for safe space first. This is not, regardless of your politics, I don't care what your politics are. I don't care if you're liberal, conservative. I don't care if you're in the United States and you're Republican or Democrat. The reality is that safe space first is something that you can get behind, right? This is saying, hey, you know what? It doesn't matter whether you believe in, I don't care if you believe whether COVID-19 is a real thing or not. You should be able to at least agree that safe space first is important. If there's a threat, we should have a system that protects people. Businesses should never be allowed to open unless they can control that space and show that they care to control that space. And that's why we have a 3-system certification for promised, confirmed, and verified. Mm-hmm. So this is something that is going to carry on. It will be universal. And it's really about businesses adopting to adhering to the highest level of care, right, and continually innovating towards that level.
Yeah, and starting with people, organizations, communities. So, you'll be speaking, you'll be unveiling the safe space first. This is a movement. Like this looks like a conference, but there's a series of them, because this is really a movement. This isn't just an initiative or an event. We have to take ownership of our futures, and we have to do that together. And I'll be speaking there as well. And my expertise is in high performance, and holistic high performance is the area that I'm expert in. And I can tell you, nobody does anything exceptional on their own. No one. Even individual athletes have a whole support system around them. We don't know what future challenges there are. We don't know what they are, but we know that there's going to be future challenges. And so we need to have a team of experts. I call it a team of champions, people in our community who care about our success the way we care about their success. So otherwise, this is just excellence. Whatever area the leader is weak in, that's the area the team is weak in. So you got to have someone, and this is during this event, we have experts. People who are experts in different areas. You're expert in systems, organizations. I'm expert in performance, people. That's the areas we're expert. But we got other experts in this team. And that's what this series of events is looking to do, is bring on these experts. So the last thing, we've got 3 things that are going to be unveiled here. We've got the Safe Space First movement, which you're going to really unveil and really educate people to what that movement is and how they can take part in it. We've got our Community Champions program, and the government can't do this. No organization, we can't do this. This is people empowering themselves, doing for themselves, the communities that they care about. You care about your own business. Okay, so how do you get ownership, skills, resources, network to support you in your business, in your community? And the last one is the Mayors Who Cares program. And all the programs, I think, are game changers. But this Mayors Who Cares is really interesting for me, because politics, you can't remove politics from this. It just can't be removed. And, you know, my end game is a Small Business Protection Act, whether it takes a year, 5 years, or whatever. We have to have some accountability, and we have to have something that protects small businesses, some real metrics that are transparent that say, this is what makes you essential and non-essential, or safe or unsafe, or you can open, you can't open. We got to have some real clear guidelines, and it has to be communicated in a way that we understand, and it has to be delivered in a way that works. And that's what the Small Business Protection Act is. But coming all the way back to today, we got to have politicians, people who help to make laws and rules on side with this. And it has to be bilateral. Who cares about, you know, what your party is? Can we keep our neighborhoods, businesses, people safe? And can we keep the economy not only surviving and striving, but thriving? Can we do that? And so this Mayors Who Cares program is really the start of that, because it's risky for politicians to stand on something when they don't own it. You know, they have to trust the organization, they have to trust the mission, you know, they're not controlling the narrative. So we have mayors who are showing up, who are saying that we care about our communities and we care about creating safe space for, they're getting behind this movement and this mission. So what do you have to say about these politicians who are taking a stand for their communities?
Well, you know, and before I address that, I'd like to say, first of all, the business community needs to understand, first of all, that they need to take ownership about this system beyond elected officials and governments. This needs to be an association with autonomy separate from government.
Right.
Now but yet acknowledging that we have to adhere to whatever the regional, state, provincial, federal government guidelines are, as per related to managing safe space. And so they are in sync with each other. And what we've done as an organization is say, okay, but we don't just stop with what the government mandates are, what those requirements are. We're going beyond that. We are looking to adhere to the highest level of safe space management. Right now, that doesn't mean that every business is going to, to reach that level, but it is our goal to say, hey, this is what we care about. We promise to do this, and this is the important initiative. And as long as we do that, that on its own will be a solution, that will help for future pandemics or even for future viral threats. But the Mayors That Care program that you're talking about is critically important, because this is saying, hey, we understand this and we support it. We want to get behind it and we want to promote it. We're not looking for any specific action other than to be a strong community champion. And
right.
And that's critically important. We got some excellent mayors that are coming to this event, and we're getting a lot of support from other elected politicians as well. So, I mean, the whole purpose of this, like we said, is really about that. Now, the other part, you talked about community champions, your program, you created this, and what that was just beautiful. It was a great idea to give recognition to people in different communities that really went above and beyond for their community, and to help people and businesses overcome the challenges that have been there as a result of the pandemic. And there are some excellent people that have done so many different things, from helping out in food banks, raising money for people who are on hard times, businesses that are struggling. And I mean, like, look, at the end of the day too, it is so easy to point the finger at governments and say, hey, you know what, you guys abandoned small business. And it feels like that to small business. But there's been a lot of programs that have been created and influenced by many elected officials that do care about small business. And it's so easy for that to go unnoticed. So at the end of the day, it's time to put our politics aside. It is time to put all of everything that we've been divided over aside and get behind one thing, unite on one thing, that we care about: safe space.
Yeah. That's it. And the unity is the key to this whole thing. And that's a mayor, their area might be doing well, but I tell you, you want your neighbors to do well. If you're a business and your business is doing well, but your neighbors are going out of business and you've got vacancy signs all over the place, then that area is not going to do well as a business district. So it really does take a village. It really does take a village, and to get back to caring about each other's success. And it just makes good business sense to have other smart, successful people in your community, in your network, fighting for your success.
Yes.
It just makes good sense.
Well, the other thing we want to touch before we end, Steve, is that it also, the advantage of the business is letting their customers know that they are about safe space first.
Yeah.
You've already seen a number of businesses that weren't even holding compliance to some of the restrictions or even the protocols that were out there, and people getting sick in different stores. You've heard these things, but this is about, it's about us businesses letting the public know that we care about them. We do care. And the beautiful thing is, any of that certification or licensing that is acquired from Safe Space First and SBE is essential. That money goes back to helping out small businesses. So we've created some license and certification revenues that are earned, and that money is to help small businesses to continue to innovate and be able to withstand the some of the kind of challenges that affected their sustainability. Okay.
Awesome. Ed, thank you very much. Is there anything else that you want to touch on before we go? I want to give the details for the actual event as we close out, but is there anything else you want to say before we do that?
No, we just need as many good people as possible to get on board. We're still looking for volunteers. We have a lot of good people in the organization that come forward and see the importance of helping out, but we need as many people as possible. This is a big task. And uniting everyone together needs as many people as possible to continue to promote this positive message. So people like you, people like many of the people in the organization already. So we look forward to come out, contact us, make a donation. You know, signing up for small business is essential, is free. It doesn't cost anything, and it doesn't cost anything to become a Safe Care First business. So do either one of those two things. Go to our website at sbeunited.org or safespacefirst.com.
Awesome. So actually, I'm going to ask you to give the details for the event. It's November 25th. So if you can just give the venue, the date, just the details, just so everyone knows when this conference, small business conference, and the conference is actually called Unite 2021.
Unite 2021. Unite 2021 is held on November 25th at Tosca Banquet Hall in Oshawa, Ontario. That event is being held from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's an all-day conference, and wonderful, great speakers. Myself and Steve Anderson, who is with me now, as you know, Steve. We have Laura Martin, Lorna Weston Smythe. We have Dan Kelly, John Henry, and it's going to be a great day. We also have a few other people that will be attending as well, different mayors that will be presenting community champion awards, and I think it's going to be wonderful. It's the first day to kick off what I think is the most important movement that is affecting people today.
Yeah, thank you, Ed. I really appreciate it. Thank you for being here. I want to thank everyone else for being here with us. These conversations are so important, but it's more than conversations. What are we going to do? What sort of ownership are we going to take? We can't wait for other people to take care of us in our neighborhoods. What are we going to do to own that? And that's what this launch is all about. So the 25th of November, it's in Oshawa. We'd love to actually have you physically there. You can't, I don't care about the pandemic and all this other stuff. We're going to take safe precautions to keep people safe. There's nothing like us being with each other. How do we do that in a safe space so that we can keep having this human contact? Because even beyond our businesses, our own personal, mental, emotional, social health, all this is at stake. So how are we going to move powerfully into the future? And these are the things that we're going to be looking to do. So it's not just about coming to hear the speakers. There's a call to action. There is a call to action. What are we actually going to do to make a better world for ourselves? So thank you very much for being here. We look forward to seeing you there. There's a virtual event 2 weeks after that's global. This is the launch. It's not just the local events. This is the launch of this Safe Space First movement, this unity, Unite 2021 on the 25th of November. Thank you. God bless everybody. Be well, and we'll see you soon.
See you later, Steve. Thank you.